Get to the day two, and our good friend Charlie LeDuff joins us with big breaking news on that high-level Democrat operative here in Kent County charged with ripping off an old woman. Yeah, the big three, the stories that matter most. You'll be talking about these around the water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are, powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. You know, I told you for years, now's the best time. There's never been a better time to buy or refi. And the folks that listen, boy, they made out big. They saved thousands, and I can't even contemplate how much it really would be over the life of everything with low interest rates. But maybe you're finding yourself in a moment right now where you're taking a look at it all and you're wondering, I've seen these interest rates go down. I've seen the mortgage rates go down. Is it time? The answer is yes. Dave Galloway says, everybody's different, but we've seen record low mortgage rates over the last 4 or 5 years. Now's the time to reach out to Heartland Home Mortgage and find out if they can help you. Whether you want to buy, you refi, maybe a home equity line of credit, clean up some of that credit card debt that's out of control. Now's the time. Take care of it. HHMlending.com is the number, Dave Galloway, or the website. Dave Galloway and the team standing by to help you. Yeah, the biggest stories of the day. Let's start out with this. The president, speaking at the National Prayer Breakfast, we'll have some of that audio for you shortly. But in the meantime, asking federal agents to assist in the search for Savannah Guthrie's mom. Still not a lot to go on. Well, we get more updates as we go. Her 84-year-old mom, Nancy Guthrie, and the urgent search for the Today Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother, who vanished from her home outside of Tucson over the weekend. In a Truth Social post the other night, Trump announcing he spoke with Savannah Guthrie and is making every federal asset available. Meantime, folks praying for that safe return. A man who tried to kill President Trump, Ryan Ralph. You remember the assassination? There's a second assassination attempt on that golf course. He gets life. Plus, I think they ran another 7 years on him, so he's not getting out anytime soon. The House will vote on it next week. That bill to require citizenship check and photo ID for voting. This is a no-brainer, but it definitely ups the pressure in the Senate. The Save America Act is what it's called. They'll get the vote done that will require that ID. And Americans seem to be very much in favor of this. There's new polling out. It shows it's pretty crystal clear anyway. We'll have the latest on that and more coming up this morning. Appreciate you being with us. Of course, like I said, Charlie LeDuff joining us coming up at about 9:35 with the latest on that big breaking news story. And the president speaking at the National Prayer Breakfast this morning. We'll bring you some of that audio right now.
I said, no. When you say coal, clean, beautiful. We buy all that wind from, we don't anymore. So we haven't approved anything in wind, right, Doug? Nothing, because it's, it's a quick way to losing money, losing beauty, losing your fields, killing your birds. And other than that, it doesn't work. And Europe is getting, Europe is so bad with the windmills. They're destroying their country with wind. And I was over there. It's not even recognizable what they've done. They've got a big problem on their hands. Between immigration and energy, Europe is destroying itself, and they better get smart. And I love them all. I'm friends with everyone of every country over there. I've helped them a lot. Got the GDP up from 2% to 5%, which is, for spending, for military spending. Nobody thought that was possible. Nobody thought 2% was possible. Got them to 5%. But it's not recognizable, Europe. If you go through the different cities, it's a very sad thing. And I tell it, I went over to Davos. They invited me. And when I left, they said, that may have been the stupidest invitation we ever gave to somebody, Switzerland. But they have to, I just say it like it is, they're destroying their country. Their energy is ridiculous, what they've done. And the immigration is, I'm telling you, it's it's a place where many of these countries are not recognizable, and I'd like to see them straighten it out. Very soon, it's going to be impossible for them to straighten it out. We have our Director of National and International Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who's doing a great job. Where's Tulsi? She took a lot of heat 2 days ago because she went in at Pam's insistence. She went in and she looked at votes that want to be checked out from Georgia. They say, why is she doing it? Right, Pam? Why is she doing it? Because Pam wanted her to do it. And you know why? Because she's smart. And they said, well, this has to do, her position has to do, it's really not so, but her position has to do with international. I say, well, the same people that said that, they've been saying Russia, Russia, Russia has been screwing our elections, okay? So let's assume Russia had something to do with it. They say, no, no, Russia didn't have. So now they're saying Russia had nothing to do with it. Because if I say Russia, that it's perfectly fine. But you could add China and about 5 other countries to it. But she's done a great job, and Pam has done a fantastic job, and we appreciate it both. I haven't seen you in a couple of days. And I have one of the greatest negotiators. I'm so proud of him. He's a great negotiator. He's smart and respected by everybody. Jameson Greer, U.S. Trade. Where is Jameson? He's around here someplace. Thank you, Jameson. Boy, he's good. We have a great team. We have a great economic team, a great military team. We have Raisin Cain helps Pete. Raisin Cain, General Cain. He wiped out ISIS in 3 weeks. I was told by General Mattis and General Milley, sir, it will take 5 years. I said, what? Sir, it'll take 5 years. He said, you mean we have the best equipment in the world, and we're fighting guys that use bad rifles, knives preferably. They're very good with a knife, but a knife shouldn't do it. And I said, why? And I flew over to Iraq, and I met a guy named Cain. I came out of the plane, and there's a handsome general standing there. I had 3 generals. I went there to find out why the hell we couldn't win the war. Why aren't we winning the war against ISIS? They've been, playing games with us. So I wanted to see, and that's where I met Raisin Cain. I said, what's your first name? Raisin, sir. They call me Raisin. I said, what the hell kind of a name is that? Right? We've learned a lot about her. Now we get it. In this very quiet manner, he's brutal. Just ask Venezuela. Ask Iran. They're negotiating now. They don't want us to hit them. We have a big fleet going over to Iran. But so Raisin was there at the bottom of the plane. What's your name? Raisin. What's your last name? Cain. I said, so your name is, let's get this straight. Your name is Raisin Cain, right? Yes, sir, that's what they call me. You're the guy I'm looking for. And then he said, sir, if you'd like, you can go and sleep. It's a 20-hour trip. If you'd like, you can go and sleep. We have quarters prepared for you. I said, no, I don't have to sleep. I've been on a plane sleeping for I'm sleeping the plane. I don't sleep on planes. I don't like sleeping on planes, I like looking out the window watching for missiles and enemies, actually. But he said, sir, we have a place prepared for you, and we can meet after you've rested. I said, no, let's go right now. So we did that. And I said to him, they tell me it's going to take 5 years to defeat ISIS. No, sir. I said, well, how long would it be, General Cain? Sir, we can do it in 4 weeks. I said, what? We can do it in 4 weeks, sir. And I should have maybe a couple of weeks left over. You could do it in less than 4 weeks? Yes, sir. I said, well, how come they tell me, our television generals, as I call them, two very poor generals, these guys, they look nice, they were nice guys. They didn't have what it took, believe me. Yeah, some people have that. They don't have what it takes no matter what. I said, how come they tell me it's 4 to 5 years? And he said, well, I don't want to speak badly about anybody, so I'd rather not comment on that. I found that to be nice, okay? But I said, all right, tell me how you're going to do it. Well, sir, We use this one base here, and we're hundreds of miles away. And by the time the planes get to the target, they have to come back and refuel, and we're too far. I said, why do we do that? Because we don't want to offend any of the other countries. I said, we have a lot of portable airports, right, Pete? We have portable airports all over the Middle East, runways that are portable. You put them down, you take them up. We have equipment. Nobody has the stuff we have. We have airports that look better than Kennedy Airport. And they're built in sand. And it took us about 2 minutes to build them. No, the equipment is incredible. You can land any plane on them, right? Portable. And we've got many of them, sir. We have to use them. I said, why don't we? Because we didn't want to defend, offend another country. I said, let me ask you a question. You're in the middle of the desert. Would another country know if we're taking off from some strip in the desert? They would have no idea, sir. They don't have radar. They don't have anything. So he explained it. So we want to hit them, sir, from 17 different locations. And we want to hit them left. And we hit them, here we go. And we want to hit them right. Sure, and we want to hit them from the top. And we want to hit them from the bottom. East, west, north, south. Sir, they won't know what the hell hit, and we'll knock them out. We did it politically correct. 5 years, we'd call up the country head and we tell them, we'd like to attack ISIS today. As soon as the call was made, they'd call ISIS and tell them, you're going to be attacked, get the hell out of it. This is what we were doing for years, but not with Raising Cane and not with Pete Hegseth, right, Pete? We don't do that. And we have a little different method. So I went back to Washington and I said, this guy, he said, and then I checked up on him, and he was so respected. I said, he's really, respected. And I called him back. I said, General, go at it. Do good luck. God bless you. And he said, I say that to the people going out every time, and they say it when we give the okay for, the attack on Venezuela or the attack on Iran. He says, I say, we all say, we're all in a room together watching. We watch it. We watch these attacks. We always say, God bless you. Have a safe journey. It's a dangerous journey. These are dangerous journeys. Flying through the middle of Iran, they know you're coming, and you're in a B-2 bomber, the most incredible thing, and they weren't able to see it because it's stealth. So good, we ordered 20 more of them, brand new, updated version. I actually said, don't get the updated, just take the one you have. They said, no, sir, the new one's even better. We have a military, nobody has a military like we do. I rebuilt it, by the way, during my first term. I mean, I think it's one of the best things I did. I rebuilt the military during the first term, and now we're really rebuilding the military, right? But the bottom line, I called him, I said, so you...
Prayer breakfast in Washington, D.C. this morning, the 74th National Prayer Breakfast, as he's giving remarks there live. If there's anything breaking news, whatnot comes out of it, we'll make sure we get it for you. Coming up. Stick with us. We got big stories today. We got lots to discuss, lots to talk about. In fact, there's something big. I don't know if we'll get into it today during the show here, but maybe the after show. A bombshell election report out of Fulton County. Some of the things that we've learned, I think, are going to really start to ratchet up. We're going to try to unpack that for you at some point today. So stand by for that. But speaking of bombshells, she would have been a judge. She's the Democrat treasurer of the Democrat Party anyway, and at the time. And apparently she's out there ripping off old ladies, according to the reports. At least that's what the prosecutor in Kent County says. That story is just starting to heat up. We had some breaking news on it the other day. This woman was arraigned, and it happened in an unusual way. I'll just put it that way. Charlie LaDuff has questions, but he's got answers too. Coming up, 9:35, we'll talk to him. He's been following this story. It ties in, he says, to Attorney General Dana Nessel. So that story and more, and the corruption unveiled. Coming up after this on West Michigan Live.
Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Thursday, February 5th. I'm Robin Kaufman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. A Detroit judge facing 45 years in prison on embezzlement charges. Judge Andrea Bradley Baskin charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, several counts of money laundering, and making a false statement to a federal law enforcement agent. In other news, Jocelyn Benson's transparency website still suffering egregious and outstanding issues months after promised fixes. And a judge handing down a life sentence for Ryan Ruth, the man convicted of trying to assassinate President Trump on his golf course back in 2024. His court-appointed defense attorney, Martin Roth.
The judge may have mistakenly applied the federal crime of terrorism enhancement, and that will be probably the leading issue on appeal. I will be filing a notice of appeal in this case.
For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
This weekend, Grand Haven Home Show.
All right, good morning, folks. Let's say good morning to the folks over the VIP. That's right, hanging out on locals today. I got Hemi, I got Gritter, the entire crew's here. Mando, Patriot Dean, the Lifer, good to see you, my friend. Thank you guys for being here with us and getting the show kick-started. Sharon's in the house. Salo Sue, James is here. So many others. Thank you guys for being here. Kelly, Andrew Stuff. Good to see you. That's as far back as it goes for me. But thank you guys. Julianne over on Rumble. SJ, Stephen Legacy. Such a time as this. Jen Lynn, Gary in Florida. I'll be coming your way soon, Gary. I don't know if I'll be in your neck of the woods or not. Florida's a big state. Facebook, the Bookers are here. Sean, good to see you. Thank you for being here today. We got Bunny, we got Terry, we got Tammy, we got Dawn. Where's Jason and the Rooster? Jessica says, is Jason, are you here today? That's a good question. He's usually up at the crack of dawn with us. Cracking jokes, too. Hang on, got to jump back on the air real quick, and then we will get into it all. Yeah, about 45 seconds left here. Bum, 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 bum. Stand by.
Your complete football coverage. Dive deep into early takes with the official NFL Podcast Network.
Welcome to NFL Daily.
And go live with Fox Sports Radio to join the conversation.
The two best road teams in the NFL.
Plus, iHeart is the home of the Super Bowl 60 tailgate concert presented by NetApp. Just open the iHeartRadio app and search NFL to dive in.
Set Wood Radio is a preset now on our iHeartRadio app. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
Yeah, welcome back at it, folks. We're rolling right through the fastest hour in radio. Coming up, Charlie the Duff joins us with that big breaking news. And that high-level Democrat and the latest scandal, the corruption that may go deeper than you might even imagine. Coming up at about 9:35 this morning. But first, we want to say thanks to the folks who power this program each and every day at the Good Feet store. Man, I am moving. I'm grooving. I'm feeling great. You won't believe how much I'm down since I'm back on my program. You know, the good thing is the Good Feet store helps you feel good no matter what you're doing. If you're trying to get some steps in, you know, maybe be a little more active, keep that New Year's resolution, or maybe just trying to keep up after the kids like I have to with my 3-year-old and my 5-year-old, or the grandkids. No matter what you're doing, at work or play, they help you feel more confident, more comfortable at the Good Feet store each and every day. But you need to walk in. Don't just take my word for it. You need to see for yourself. Go ask them and try on your personalized arch supports and see what it feels like for yourself. On 28th Street, right in front of Costco, or in Portage on Westnedge in front of Kohl's, it's the Good Feet store, and I guarantee you're going to love the way you feel. I know that's the Suit Guys tagline, but it's true. I think I think you're going to love it. Hey, big breaking news this morning. We got this story, and my jaw dropped. I thought, can you imagine what they would say, what they would be printing right now if a Republican or Trump himself or somebody in his administration, like last time around during the Biden years, would have done this? Remember the Democrats that came out and did that dangerous video telling the military to disobey Trump's orders? Turns out Alyssa Slotkin here in Michigan, one of the senators, former CIA, she's refused to talk to the Justice Department about the video. Says she will not sit down. Feel like it's almost like I could see one of the toddlers, like one of my girls, with that fit. I will not. I will not sit down with the Justice Department. She won't even talk to him about it. Now that seems a little suspicious. I don't know about you. What comes next? She probably just doesn't want to get herself in a trap. That's a wise move. But eventually, I think sooner or later, you got to pay the piper. That day may be coming for her before she knows it. Anyway, back next, Charlie LaDuff checking our news headlines. Bottom of the hour. Back after this on West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley.
Where the truth isn't negotiable. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
This is a Money Minute with Laura.
How about that? I'm just not going to do it. No. Don't have to come in. Are you kidding me? What? I mean, what kind of banana republic are we talking about? I mean, it's a voluntary interview. I get that. But you won't even come in with an attorney present? You won't talk to them with an attorney present? That tells me everything I need to know about how guilty you are. Slotkin of refusing to voluntarily comply. Soon, it won't be voluntarily. In letters first obtained by the Associated Press, Slotkin's lawyer informed U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Judge Jeanine Pirro, that the senior would not agree to a voluntary interview about the video. Slotkin's legal team also requested that Pirro preserve all documents related to the matter of anticipated litigation. Well, we might also ask that you maintain all documents and communications between you and the rest of those people that were urging an insurrection among the military, a coup, a treason. We might request that you maintain all your documents. Can you imagine? Her lawyer separately wrote to Attorney General Pam Bondi declining to sit for an FBI interview about the video and urging her to immediately terminate any inquiry. The refusal marks a potential turning point. You know how the news writes this, though? So, I guess the attorneys do this, and it's for optics anyway, but they write this as though, like, the DOJ is in the wrong. And that they could be in trouble. Yeah, that the DOJ could somehow be in trouble for her making and participating in this crazy act with the video. The refusal marks a potential turning point in the standoff, shifting the burden into the Justice Department to decide whether it will escalate. Well, she said in an interview yesterday, Slotkin, I did this to go on offense and to put them in a position where they're tap dancing. Uh-huh. That I don't think is what you want to do to the DOJ, honey. I'm going to be completely clear with you. I just don't think that's what you want to do to the Justice Department, particularly not in the find out era. Anybody else with me? Did you see Maxine Waters yesterday all crazy? I got to play that in a little bit. She told Scott Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury, to shut up, but his answer was the icing on the cake, by the way. The answer was it. We got new news. Nobody rioted for her. Nobody stood up and went out to the streets and protested for Irina when she was killed on the subway. And we've got new news right now about what took place, what happened that day. In fact, why it happened. The man who killed her should have never been out of jail. Listen to this.
Making a bombshell allegation saying that the suspect in the murder of Ukrainian refugee aboard a Charlotte train was released under a COVID-era deal signed by former governor and current Senate candidate Dema Cooper. Now, Irina Zarutska, who you're looking at there.
Now, listen to that. He was the governor. Now he's a candidate for Senate. So this is going to get political. It's going to have some political fallout.
Remember, this was stabbed to death in a gruesome attack aboard a Charlotte light rail train last summer. The suspect charged was repeat offender DeCarlos Brown. He repeated his offenses quite a bit. We'll show you that in a moment. And now Republicans allege that he may have only been out on the streets due to Cooper. A new piece in Fox News Digital reads, Republican officials say records are raising urgent questions about whether DeCarlos Brown Jr., the parolee charged in the fatal stabbing of 23-year-old Irina Zarutska, was tied to a 2021 COVID-era settlement that authorized the early release or transition of 3,500 incarcerated individuals.
Incredible. Never should have been out. She'd still be alive if it weren't for these policies of these limp-wristed liberal nitwits.
Cooper's campaign disputed the allegation and said that Brown was not released as part of the settlement. Their campaign spokesperson told Fox News Digital these attacks are false. Roy Cooper is the only candidate who spent his career prosecuting violent criminals and keeping thousands of them behind bars as attorney general and signaling tough on crime laws and stricter pretrial release bail policies as governor. DeCarlos Brown Jr. has a long history of repeated offenses. You see his mugshots there. But it is not the only repeat offender allegedly released by the settlement. There were thousands others. Harris, we know.
Incredible. And, you know, this makes me wonder how many. So you'll see all those mugshots of him on the screen, but how many more of him are out there running around on the streets right now? How many of this guy, I mean, just other criminals, like all the other ones that they've let out, how many of them are out there on the street and could attack, could spring at any moment and attack any number of people in North Carolina? This is the problem. This is why crime, and particularly the murder rate, is down in this country, the lowest it's been since like 1900, because the president's taken a tough on crime approach. They're going to continue to take that tough on crime approach. And thank God, because it's going to save lives. It's going to save lives. Stand by, folks. Back on the air.
And you'll also receive the gift of a will and trust. Mike and his team are not attorneys, but they work with a group of attorneys who will provide a will and trust to you at no charge.
Advisory services offered through Talent Private Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend, Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Powered today by Mentality, the folks who know what it takes to get you back on track. Men, look, you know you matter. We need you to be the best husbands, the best fathers, the best in your calling every day on a daily basis. If you feel sluggish, you feel that drop of energy, you just can't get it done like you used to, well, it may not be your fault. Maybe the testosterone levels, they're out of whack for a number of reasons. And some of that may not even be your fault. But they'd love to help you out. They'd love to help you get back. Go to lowtusa.com to find out more today and get back on track, because we need you in the fight each and every day. That's lowtusa.com. Do it today.
The Democrats' treasurer, Tracy Kornak, is an embezzler of an old woman.
Stop
what
touching
happened?
me. Stop touching me.
At least that's what the Kent County prosecutor believes, or he wouldn't have charged her with 3 felonies.
Stop touching me.
What happened to the woman's money?
Stop touching me.
I got hold of some investigation notes. Sit down. It's pretty sick.
We're talking about nearly $500,000 of what we've uncovered. So I think it's important for those that are watching this to be reminded of that and that dollar amount and the negligence from the Attorney General.
Kornak was a court-appointed conservator to a brain-damaged old lady named Rose Bird. The old woman complained that she was being ripped off. Adult Protective Services came in, and that's when Kornak took it out on Rose.
Get the f*** out of that mailbox! I just caught you on camera!
Kornak screamed at the old woman, cut her off from the world, dined out on her debit card, even locked her away in the dark. Rose wanted to be buried, but Kornak cremated her. It was cheaper that way.
For me, it's more than just about the work. It's personal.
Attorney General Dana Nessel had the case first, almost 4 years ago. She could have caught Kornak then, but she let her go, because Kornak was a political pal.
Did you collude with the Attorney General to make this case go away?
Now Nessel faces potential impeachment, the first time in the history of Michigan.
The Attorney General's office is one of two things. It is either wholly incompetent or it is corrupt.
I'd say it's both, incompetence and corruption. And I say justice for Rose Bird.
Amen to that. Charlie LaDuff has been on this case the entire time, all the way through, and man, he's been a bulldog. And thankfully, maybe there will be some justice for Rose Bird, because just the other day, Tracy Kornak was arraigned here in Kent County. Charlie LaDuff joins us now. Good morning, Charlie. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, my man. How you doing?
You know, this story is incredible, and you've been following it the entire time, and you got a little bit of a twist the other day when you learned she was arraigned before the date she was supposed to be. What happened there? It was a little early.
They snuck her in. Okay, look, it's common practice. Either the clerk of the court needs to rearrange it, and usually that date gets pushed back, or the attorney can request it, and that date gets moved up. So she was moved in there. Nobody knew. Press didn't know. She didn't have to do the walk of shame. But more outrageously, Justin, the family, the victims were not told. And by virtue of the state constitution, that's against the law. And I'm going to, let me tell your audience something here. The judge's name is Kirsten Holz. Remember it. Kirsten Holz. She was appointed by Whitmer, was never elected, member of the Progressive Women's Alliance, and you're allowing this. The bond, the newspaper reports $50,000. That's true, but it's a personal recognizance bond. No money down. So everybody, if you pull over, write this number down. 616-632-7770. That is the criminal clerk's office. We all demand to know when she next appears. 616-632-7770. And when I'm done with you, I've got to call Rose Bird's family because they're in tears. They wanted to be there. They deserve justice. And again, by virtue of the state constitution, that's their right.
It's incredible to me that this type of thing would be possible, that this could be kind of covered up. It's essentially what we're watching, that be done under the cover of darkness. And that's not the way this stuff should work. We should have transparency through every single part, especially when you dig in and you learn the really dirty details that this woman, Kornak, who was a high-level Democrat operative, friends with the Attorney General, Gretchen Whitmer, and the rest of them, was set at the time all of this was going down. She was set to be maybe slotted as a judge here in Kent County at the time. You imagine,
Your judge.
You just imagine, though. I mean, this is the system. This should be no surprise for us, unfortunately, the way things have played out lately. But just imagine if she becomes a judge and they've got all this dirt on her. Is there anything they can't do? I mean, they own her.
Look, I'm on the east side of the state, right? I'm aware of the west side of the state. I vacation there, lovely place, but I don't know it like you know it. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to see the tentacles go from Lansing to Detroit to Grand Rapids, and the only thing leading us to any sort of justice is Chris Becker, your prosecutor, running for re-election. I know him to be an honorable guy. He was Man of the Year in terms of the elder abuse prosecutors, right? His pet peeve is whipping off old people. That's his pet peeve. So I got a feeling, I hope, that Chris isn't going to let this be, okay, restitution, you lose your law license, and that's it. It cannot be that. To quote an old movie, nobody knocks off an old lady in my neighborhood and gets away with it.
Well, if we can't protect the most vulnerable in this society, in this situation, this senior, what the heck are we good for?
Well, if I could, why did the Kent County prosecutor charge Nestle's pal with embezzling from an old woman? And Nestle's office could not find the same exact case. Same exact case. Tell me why. Who's this judge? Who's Holmes? Who is this? Have you ever heard of her?
I don't know. I just know what you know. It's just she was just appointed. She was not. There's no election.
Can I do this? He came to do my show, stayed overnight. It's Joe LeBlanc, Nursing Home Joe, the guy that blew the whistle. It's Justin Barkley. Say, hey, Joe. Hey, Justin, how are you?
Hey, Joe.
Man, Joe got killed. Joe got wiped out.
He's the one that brought this whole thing to the head, right?
Okay. He said you're the one that brought it all to the point.
I am. But now you get to see it. Everybody's seeing what I've known for years. Everybody gets to see it real time now. So if you want changes, it's on us. And I appreciate you helping with this because you're over there.
He's the biggest voice over there.
Great. Thanks, Justin.
Well, we're doing as much as we can here. I know it's a little bit, but the point is this, and you just made that point, Charlie, and so did Joe. But look, if you want accountability, now is the time. It's a find out era. You've got to make sure that your voice is heard and you speak out about this, because you know why they get away with all this? It's swept under the rug. It happens under the radar because we let it happen. I mean, that's the unfortunate. We have to deal with that, but we allow these things to happen. And unless we stand up and speak out, they'll continue.
Well, I know why people don't, because Joe and I have lived it. It's a machine, and they'll try to wipe you out. But you know what? I was on Tom Jordan show, it's Christian radio on this side of the state.
Yeah.
And I didn't know Ezekiel chapter 33. It's the Watchman.
Yeah.
And now I've got it committed to memory and to my heart. No way. No, you got to speak up. Like, it'll be okay. The Lord will take care of you. But again, nobody knocks off an old lady in my neighborhood and gets away with it.
Right. Let's give that information again, Charlie, because I know they're going to be looking for it. We make sure we put it up on the stack again today. But for the family, to make sure that there's transparency through this process, who do folks need to call and what's the number again?
You're going to call the 63rd District Court, the clerk's office, whether you're a victim, the family, I'll let them know, or you're just an interested observer, a citizen. You're going to call 616-632-7770. One more time, 632-7770.
And what are they going to say when they get on the line with the clerk's office? They're going to make sure that they let people know they're interested in this case. And is there a case number, or just that maybe there's just a name they could tell them? Or
you can say it is the Cornett case or the Bird case. The next date supposedly is February 25th. Like I said, the sister of Rose Bird got a hold of me, is just beside herself because they wanted to be there to look at this alleged monster. Alleged, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, but they wanted to look. They've known for many years, and they didn't get to do that. And if Judge Kirsten Holtz is actually a progressive woman, you would bestow that right, defend that right for another woman,
right?
To look at the woman that victimized a woman.
Right. Yeah. You would think that there would be a fight for justice here. I will tell you one thing. The interesting thing you told me the other night, said, yeah, they moved this up and nobody knew about it. You're saying the family was beside themselves in this whole thing. And I will tell you this. I think that obviously that was intended so that she could get in and out of the courthouse without having a bunch of cameras or media around. Because again, anything that happens under the cover of darkness, is usually easier to sweep up. And I'm told by the people who did catch her on camera by accident, Channel 8 over here, they were there for another story. I'm told she was livid when she saw the cameras there. And you can imagine why.
Now watch this, man. No mugshot, right? Zero bond. Why? So I'm hunting around, and I'm told because it's a non-violent crime. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just to remind everybody. Allegedly, according to government documents, not me, this is Adult Protective Services, Cornack took it out on the old woman, took the light bulbs out of her room, taped the thermostat shut, taped the windows closed.
That sounds violent to me. It's torture.
Oh, my God. Yes. It's violence.
Unthinkable. Do you think about somebody doing that to your mother or your grandmother? It's absolutely unthinkable. It's evil.
It wouldn't happen, man. It wouldn't happen, dude. I guarantee you.
The only way evil thrives is when good men do nothing. And Charlie, you're a good man. I'm glad you're doing something. We'll continue to do the same. And we ask people who are listening to this program to speak out as well. Make sure your voice is heard on this. Charlie, again, they're going to call the Kent County clerk. And what are they going to say?
Let's find out. 616-632-7770.
There you go. Ask about the Cornack or the Byrd case, and you want to know when the next hearing is, the date of the next hearing, so you can stay on top of this case. But I
get breaking news. This is great. Thank you, Dana Nessel. We've now got an ICE tracker run by Dana Nessel. Dana Nessel can't bring this case to court. Now she's tracking cops. Okay.
Unbelievable. Charlie LaDuff, the best. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much for taking the time. Keep up the fight.
My man, great weekend.
You got it. God bless. There you go. By the way, the No BS News Hour, the Charlie LaDuff podcast, you can catch up with it all. And he's on X, too. He does great work for the Michigan Enjoyer, but NoBSNewsHour.com as well, and on X at CharlieLaDuff.com. Yeah. It's gut-wrenching, some of this stuff. I mean, it really turns your stomach when you hear the details of it all. No fingerprints, no mugshot in the case. So nothing to see here. We're just covering up for one of our own. Don't let it happen, folks. Back after this. Hang on. Fastest hour on radio.
Button issues with style. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Hey, Kevin Yoder Real Estate wants to make sure that you have everything buttoned up, especially at a time when it is, it's not easy. It's kind of tough. It really gets emotional. You're making that move, or maybe someone you love is making that move into assisted living. You want to sell that home. It's probably your biggest investment, right? And you want to cash out and make sure that you get top dollar so that you can have every asset you need to thrive in the future in that assisted living to cover it all. And that's why Kevin Yoder and Yoder Real Estate Team, brokered by LPT Realty, created this Senior Smooth Move system. It's a step-by-step process. It helps families sell smarter, plan better, and walk away with more. They protect your loved one's equity and handle the heavy lifting all for you. Visit seniorsmoothmove.com or call 616-303-5671. They'll come right to you. They'll schedule a free consultation and talk about your options today. That's seniorsmoothmove.com. Call them today at seniorsmoothmove.com.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Thursday, February 5th. I'm Robin Poffman. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson said last year she would not tolerate glitches plaguing her $9 million revamped campaign finance website going beyond July. But the site still experiencing egregious, outstanding issues. A Detroit judge facing 45 years in prison on embezzlement charges, Judge Andrea Bradley Baskin, charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, several counts of money laundering, and making a false statement to a federal law enforcement agent. And a judge handing down a life sentence for Ryan Ruth, the man convicted of trying to assassinate President golf course. His court-appointed defense attorney, Martin Roth, says he's filing an appeal on behalf of his client.
He hopes that his actions do not influence other people or motivate other people to involve themselves in a political act of violence.
For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by...
All right, folks. The president he's still going. This shouldn't be a surprise to us. But he's still going. You want to see some of it? Here's crazy. The speech. National Prayer.
On our youth. Who would think about that? Who would think if you go back 15 years, you're talking about, and I stopped the mutilation of children. The mutilation, the word is mutilation. They mutilize, the mutilation of children. I stopped it. Who would think if you said that 15 years ago, they'd say, what the hell is he talking? Is he crazy? It's levels you've never seen. We're still fighting it, but, transgender for everybody. They want transgender for everybody. We stopped it. And we also, very importantly, we got men out of women's sports. It's enough of that nonsense. We created the White House Faith Office, first time ever, which is its 1-year anniversary this month, and headed up with Paul and Jenny and some incredible people. And we created the Presidential Commission on Religious Liberty. We do a lot. That's a great commission, by the way. That's a phenomenal commission. I signed it. Everybody wanted to be on that commission. That was really something. That was a good sign, too. And we have incredible people on it. I signed an executive order to combat the vile scourge of anti-Semitism, which is really raging, surprising. Nobody thought they'd see that happen very, very rapidly during the 4 years of Biden. And I set up an official Department of Justice task.
All right, we got to pause so we can get back on the air here. That funny troll comment, KKK rally. You realize they were filled with KKK was filled with Democrats. This is party of the KKK. Bird the rest of them. You're not going to win here. You just you kick the hornet's nest. You open a can of worms I don't think you want to deal with. People on Facebook right now not going to take too kindly to that. Hey, every now and then we have them pop in out of the woodwork. Well, you're welcome to be here. You may learn a thing or two. Just stand by and stand back and enjoy. We're going for a ride. Fastest hour on radio flying by. Lori in the chat says, we have to get the Save America Act passed. Well, it's going up for a vote in the House next week. We have details on that. More good news to get to on the way as we fly through it. Coming up next, this is just going to be something we really have to take some time and break down, but we'll do it. I want to get to the bombshell election report that's been revealed in Fulton County. In fact, there have been some new updates. There's a guy that's done a full report on this, and none of the things that he's discussed or discovered have seen the light of day just yet. And I really think they ought to. I think you're gonna like what he's had to say about some of this stuff. So we're gonna get to that on the way. But first, speaking of nasty, woohoo! They are. And every day, I say it's good news because they show you who they are. Maxine Waters telling Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, to shut up in a hearing the other day in front of Congress. Bessent's response is absolutely precious. Listen to what he had to say yesterday.
Claiming my time. Was a mass unfettered immigration. Mr. Chair, will you let him know that when I asked
the time does belong to
the
housing woman of Gulliver. 10 and 20 million immigrants
can you
took up the housing stock of working Americans, and can you maintain some level of dignity? Gentleman's time has expired.
No.
She tells him to shut up, and he says, can you maintain some level of dignity?
My time has not expired.
Your time has expired.
Ma'am, your time expired a long time ago. Maxine the Queen. There she is. In all her element. Just love it. Every day they show you more and more who they are, those Democrats. And it's just wild to watch. Like I say, pulling the curtain back on this big election news, you're going to want to be with us during the after show, the show after show. That's coming up next. You want details about who to reach out to about that case that Charlie Liddell was talking about? We'll put that up in the show notes today in the stack. JustinBarclay.com should be up shortly. Go there. In the meantime, the Glenn Beck program is coming up next. So we'll have it all for you. We're starting the after show in moments. Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals. You can listen on the iHeartRadio app wherever you download your podcast as well. In the meantime, make it a great day. I'm Justin Barclay. God bless. Okay. Stand by, folks, and click a few buttons. They're working on the air/heat in here today. So the after show may be cooking. But in other words, we may have to get out of the way at some point. So I'll just let you know when and if that happens. In the meantime, let's get this thing rolling. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. On the after show, the show right after the show. Never a dull moment, never enough time, but that's why we do it this way. We give you what you've asked for, what you demanded. People want more. I'm telling you, every time we get done with that show, I go, what did we do? And sometimes the after show. By the way, you want to keep up with everything I'm looking at every single day? I post it up. It's called the Secret Show Prep. It goes up before I go live. And you can see it if you're a VIP member over on Locals. Become a supporter today. It's just $9 a month, by the way. And you get details of every single story. And I'm telling you, you're going to love it. If you join for a full year, you'll get a month free. And you get a copy of my book, Good News, Hope, and Encouragement for Trying Times. But you want to go to justinbarclay.com/VIP to get set up. And we gave a big number yesterday. I think it was just under 17 pounds yesterday. I think before this week is over, it's going to be 20. That's how much I'm down in the first few days here of my transformation, the next phase of my transformation. I'm talking about making America healthy again, making you healthy again. That's where it all starts with. And the weight's great. Listen, I love to see the scale move, but I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I just like the way I feel. I got plenty of energy. I'm glowing, I'm told. My wife already said, Lizzie goes, I can really see it in your face. So I'm thrilled. But the point is, and I got big goals this year. If I'm going to become, and if we are going to do what we're called to do, right? If I'm going to become what I'm called to do, what I'm called to do, what the Lord wants us to do, we got to make sure we take care of ourselves, be good stewards of our bodies, and we got to get back on track. So that's why I've asked you to join me and be on the mission with us to make America healthy again, one person at a time. It's starting with you and me and each of us together, our families. Look at all the before and afters. Healthadjusted.com. You can see all of the before and after photos. By the way, our latest Maha Missy update report coming out, getting out of the World Health Organization, Trump's latest big news. We'll have more this weekend when it drops. Everybody got to see that first on the behind-the-scenes live stream yesterday. It was a big story. That was a really big story. Anyway, I've I've got a couple of things that I wanted to get to, but probably the biggest is going to be, let's talk about the election story. So they raid Fulton County. The FBI goes in and they say, we need to look at all your documents. We're going to bring this all in. And the left goes nuts. You see, no, this is how you know. They are most upset, if you pay attention, about wanting voter ID. These are Democrats. And when I say Democrats, I mean politicians, not even Americans like average, everyday people who identify as Democrats. I'm talking about the politicians. They get upset. The news media types, they get upset when you ask for voter ID. Show us who you are, who you say you are. That's why the SAVE Act is going to be so big. They're going to vote on it next week, the Save America Act. But I want to tell you, and I think this is probably the coolest piece of this, is that the polling is through the roof because it's common sense, because it's reasonable. So every time the Democrats speak out, they appear more and more radical. And that, to me, is a very good thing because you get to see exactly who they are. So, of course, they were all upset. DNI, Tulsi Gabbard was there as the raid happened in Fulton County. And you may ask, why? Aren't our elections a matter of national security? Don't you think she's qualified? In fact, I would almost say that she is duty-bound to be there. So there's a new report that's come out with a guy that actually has detailed what's wrong, what's going on in Fulton County. And I don't think anybody puts it better than Cleta Mitchell, who was on with Bannon. Maybe we'll see if we can get her on in the next coming days as well. But she was on the other day. And this is what she laid out about what's going on in Fulton County.
Happy to do that. And thank you, Steve, for always being willing to talk the truth to everybody. I want people to picture in your mind November 4th, the morning of November 4th, the day after the election, the national presidential election. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger from Georgia went on the Today Show and he said the following, that a record 4.7 million ballots had been cast in Georgia. This is the morning of November 4th. President Trump was in the lead by 103,000 votes, and there were only 94,000 ballots left to count. Now remember, the deadline for receipt of absentee ballots in Georgia in 2020 was when the polls closed 7 p.m. on November the 3rd. So that's a known number the next day, right? Except that when they finished counting the ballots 4 days later, suddenly there were 300,000 more ballots than there were when the polls closed on Election Day. Absentee ballots that came in, and half of those, 148,000 of those, were from Fulton County. Now, let me tell you some things about Fulton County. And all of this is from a 263-page intense report with every document, visual images. You cannot believe the things that are in this report. And I'll tell you where to find the full report. But I wanted to go through those 260 some odd pages and pull out the bullet points that everybody needs to just understand. So let's talk about Fulton County absentee ballots. There were 74,000 absentee ballots that had come into Fulton County by the time the polls closed, the legal deadline.
Listen to these numbers, by the way. Math doesn't lie.
By the time the polls closed on November the 3rd. But somehow, 4 days later, instead of those 74,000, there were 148,000. Plus, just a little over 148,000 absentee ballots that were now suddenly in the mix. Now, where did those come from? Fulton County election officials ordered on October the 16th over 1 million new absentee ballots. They were ordered without envelopes, even though in order to cast an absentee ballot in Georgia, you have to mail it. You have to put it in an envelope. It has to be sealed in an envelope. And we saw in one of our counts in our lawsuit, our election contest, that was never heard by a judge because no judge was appointed. But our volunteers saw all of these pristine ballots, no folds. Those cannot be. absentee ballots. But tens of thousands of these ballots were delivered to the State Farm Arena with no chain of custody. Here's the ultimate data point. According to
No chain of custody means they don't know what happened to him. From the moment they left one hand to the moment they got to another, they don't know what happened to him. They have no idea. There should never even be an appearance of impropriety in our elections. It shouldn't even be possible. You understand what I'm saying? Why are they so willy-nilly? Why are they so loose with it all? Why is it the chain of custody breaks down? That should never even be possible. And yet it did here in multiple times.
Fulton County and the Secretary of State records, this is post-election, there were 148,319 absentee ballots in Fulton County counted, included in the totals for Georgia. But only 125,784 voters were recorded as having cast an absentee ballot. That is a difference of 25,535 more ballots than voters who are recorded as having registered for and cast an absentee ballot in Fulton County. So that's 25,535 more ballots than voters. And the margin between President Trump and Joe Biden was 11,779.
Now, there's more for this video. It's about 10 minutes long. It's a good video. It's a good interview. Now, I think I'll reach out, and I think it's a good possibility we could have we could get our friend Cleta Mitchell. She's been on the program multiple times, but it's a good possibility we could get her on in the next coming days or so. Let me just put it that way. But it's a story that's not going away anytime soon. And I'm telling you right now, the find out era, I know, look, you and I, we have been wanting accountability. We have been wanting answers on this, and we want people to answer for it as well since the beginning of this. And we're not backing down. And I understand that sometimes, look, it does feel, you could get a little frustrated. It does feel, like, gosh, is anything ever going to happen? Are we ever going to see results? Well, it looks like we are starting to see some of that. And that, for all of us, should be very good news. I'm going to tell you, I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything on this, but I am going to see it through with you. We're going to make sure that we do get answers. Posted on Truth Social from President Trump, at least half a dozen of people in Congress may not be legitimately elected. Mass mail-ins must be abolished. Senator Tuberville, who is running for governor now, I believe, in the state of Alabama, right? Yeah, Alabama. Or is that Georgia? Is he in Georgia? I think he's in Alabama. Anyway, take a listen to what he's had to say.
And then, of course, President Trump wants same-day voting, mail ballots, get rid of these voting machines. There's a half a dozen people, whether it's the House or Senate, Larry, that are up here as we speak, that did not get elected. It was all bogus because we've seen the evidence, and if we don't straighten that out, you're going to see a lot more of it this fall, and it's just going to get worse and worse with the American people saying, listen, we got all y'all up there and you don't do anything to straighten it out. We want closed borders and we want fair elections. Those two things they are demanding. And as Republicans, we had better to listen to them and do that, or we're going to lose next fall.
A lot of states, don't even have an ID picture. And by the way, I vote in the state of Connecticut. You don't need an ID. You don't need a picture. You could show them a credit card, Senator. Anybody can get a credit card, any kind of credit card. You could show them a debit card, and that's sufficient. Many states let driver's licenses. Well, anybody can get a driver's license. Some states are allowing illegals to get driver's licenses for commercial purposes. So the SAVE Act would eliminate that stuff. It's very important, but you got to make the case.
Save America Act going up for the vote. It'll be on the House floor next week. Everything that we hear, all the news about this indicates that we should get a vote next week, and then it's going to be in the hands of the Senate. And boy, the pressure is going to be on, like I told you earlier. But the bombshell election report from Fulton County, if you want to dig into it, it's got this on the stack already today too. It's been done by a guy named Kevin Moncla, okay? And if you want to dig into it, it's, in fact, let me show you just a little bit of it. It is, how many pages is this? I think I saw. It's pretty beefy. I think it's like over 200 pages. But a lot of this, and I'll just tell you, like a lot of this has never been, it's never been adjudicated. This stuff has never really been looked into. And by the way, Kevin has filed this report with the DOJ. So if you want to dig in, if you want to read this, it's one we're taking a look at. Here's some of the key takeaways. Systems were reprogrammed before election, causing failures. Now, we know this is one of the things we've seen in Arizona. Specifically, this is a tactic. Reprogramming things so that there are problems, there are errors, there are failures when people do go on election day. Untested systems used for advance voting. In other words, they have no idea whether they worked or not, or whether they were vulnerable or not, or compromised. Over 1 million extra absentee ballots ordered without stubs. Absentee signature verification neglected. We had that in Michigan right here at home. You're going to have mass mail-in voting for the first time in a record you've never had before, and you're not going to just double check to make sure that the signature's right and that this is what it's purported to be, a ballot sent in legally, lawfully by this individual, and that person is legally, lawfully registered to vote. Why wouldn't we do that? It's just insane. 35 tabulator memory cards unlawfully swapped. Security seals cut. Fraudulent returns printed. 20,713 unaccounted ballots from advanced tabulators. You just heard Cleta talking about that. Election records destroyed or not preserved, and absentee ballot image files removed. Qualified write-in votes discarded. Say what? How about the top crimes may have been committed, according to this report? Well, there were 16,000 or more false ballots added to audit. That undermines the recount validity. There were almost 4,000 ballots double scanned. That inflates counts. 20,713 unaccounted ballots. No providence, possible fraud there. 22,534 more ballots than voters suggest overcounting. Destruction of election records prevents verification. Absentee image file deleted. That erases evidence. Folks, this is a treasure trove of absolute manure. There's no other way. There's no other way to explain it. Were any of the cast vote records erased or deleted? Yes. Yes. The report shows destruction of election records and intentional removal of absentee ballot image authentication files, which are related to vote documentation. See, this is the chain of custody conversation. This is the dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and being on top of it all. So if you want to know more, you're going to have to dig in. Jason, you okay, man? I just saw you. I just see Jason just popped in. He said, I got people here. Is that the FBI? Have they come to raid the chicken coop? I'll see y'all tomorrow. Love you, man. Hope everything's good. So I'm telling you this not to bog you down, but I do want you to know, because this is good news. They are on the jump on this. They are rolling. And I, for one, love to see it. All right. President Trump, some good news here at the National Prayer Gathering. As we speak, I think he's finally wrapped things up. But here's one of the things he called.
This exciting renewal this morning, I'm pleased to announce that on May 17th, 2026, that we're inviting Americans from all across the country to come together on our national mall to pray, to give thanks, and we are going to do something that everyone said, like, that's tough. We're going to rededicate America as one nation under God. You know, a lot of people.
Wow. That's big. Rededicating America as one nation under God. A national prayer gathering in May on the National Mall with the president there. What a fantastic idea. America 250.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's what I mean by the Spirit. It's so incredible to see it. I see it so much. I've never seen anything like it.
What a story. What an absolutely incredible story. Can't wait for that. Can't wait to see it. I'll tell you that much. These things, look, we got to give credit where credit's due for some of this stuff. We really do. We've got some more good health news. This is on the Maha thing. We might actually have to talk about this next week when we do our Maha report with Missy. Turns out that real food pyramid is already having effect. In fact, just the food and the way you eat. Oh my gosh. I mean, be honest with you guys. I mean, I've dropped 20 pounds almost just in the last week. Food, it's incredible the effect that it has on you. But they're saying now that this real food and switching the food pyramid, the food can have an effect on ending such things like schizophrenia. RFK Jr. made the announcement.
Dr. Pollan up at Harvard has cured schizophrenia using keto diets. There are studies right now that I saw 2 days ago where people lose their bipolar diagnosis by changing their diet. It's not only affecting our physical health, it's affecting our mental health as well. And we're asking people now, eat real food. Right? Eat protein. Dr. Pollan up at Harvard has...
That's incredible. I think there's probably a lot to be said for that. A keto diet, ketogenic diet is basically a diet where you eat no carbs. You do meat and veggies. And I don't think you have to do it forever, but you certainly, it's going to help you. It keeps your brain clear. It is. But then more good news. We'll have, I guarantee, this is a movement, folks. You're going to have stuff like this continue to come out. And we just covered it. The podcast gets released wide to everyone this weekend. Maha Missy, she shared the full story on what happened with the World Health Organization, getting out of it, and why that matters. A quick note. This is Savannah Guthrie from the Today Show making a plea for the return of her mother. There's some people that apparently say they have her, and they've asked for ransom.
Of our family. We want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She is funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see. The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you. Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
A heartbreaking situation. I can't even imagine. Just a horrific story. I mean, can you? I don't even think about this. But who knows what they're going to find out. They're digging in, and I know that President Trump has also asked the federal government to do everything in their power to make sure that she is returned. All right, one last thing for today, because we got to get out of it. They got to get in here and get some things done as far as the air and the HVAC. Remember the ShamWow guy? I think I told you a while back. He's running for Congress in Texas. He's released his first campaign video.
Hey, it's Vince. I'm running for Congress against this guy. Stop having a politician that's worse than Biden.
That's discretionary funding.
Instead, vote for me, a guy who's not half dead. I'm going to soak up the swamp, clean the house, and pick up those liberal tears at the same time. I'm going to slap chop the nuts out of the woke, making
This is too much.
less blue-haired commies and more red-blooded Americans. Vote for me so I can represent you and the ones that can't stand up for themselves.
Vote for ShamWow!
Paid for by Offer Vince ShamWow Shlomi for Congress.
Hey.
I got to go back. What did he say about the blue hair? I want to go back to this. What did he say about that?
Out of the woke, making less blue-haired commies and more red-blooded Americans.
The ShamWow guy running for Congress. Who would have thunk it? You know what? Nothing surprises me anymore. People always ask me about it. It's like, but nothing surprises me anymore. I don't know about you. Vote Shlomi, the ShamWow guy for Congress. All right, all the info today up on the stack, including the contact information for the clerk in Kent County to ask about the next date of the hearing, the Cornack and the Byrd case. The number is 616-632-7770. Charlie LaDuff talked about that in the full show, so make sure you get that and see if we can get some answers. Let's not let this one go, right? That's right. All right, back with more tomorrow. We'll see you then. Make it a great day. In the meantime, God bless.